achieve once I sat at the big table to be a teammate millionaire. I used to think that my life was about my journey, but then I found out it's bigger than me. So I invited myself to make an impact on humanity. That's when I wrote my sequence plan, and I followed the steps and took action. Now money flows to prosperity, and I'm taking the world with me, because I found the light in me that was flickering and slowly fading. But now I have a millionaire path to financially become free at last, because I come out from underneath. Take a good look at me, because I'm living my dream, and now I can see all I've achieved.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this year's Results or Regrets special event, one of our favorite events of the year. We are still working to get a bunch of people in here, so just be patient. We'll continue to let you in. Chrissy will be taking attendance. Before we get started and introduce Loral, Steve, would you like to give them some tech training real quick so they can get the best experience?
Absolutely. Welcome, everybody, to Results or Regrets. Tonight's broadcast is actually presented by Loral Langemeier's YouTube channel. So those of you that have been out on YouTube watching and binge watching all of Loral's YouTube videos, we're going live over there for that audience as well. Now, depending on how you're attending the show tonight, those of you that are my techies, you're on multiple screens. You probably have your additional third screen with an iPad or something like that. You all curate your own experiences, so I trust you guys. You guys can be here and consume tonight's content and production as you see fit. Now, for those of us that are on one screen, you're on one computer, laptop, there's a couple of settings that I want you to hit for the best experience. Right now, you're seeing something at the top of your screen, the little share screen bar that says you are now viewing Integrated Wealth Systems Screen Share Screen. Right next to that is a little view options menu. I want you to click on that little view options menu, that little tick mark, and there's two options there that'll make this a better experience for you. I want you to hit side-by-side mode. That'll turn the slides to the left hand of your screen. You'll have the video panel in the middle, and then it'll relocate your chat window and your participant panel to the right of the screen. And then the second option is fit to screen, because then what will happen is the slides, if they're zoomed in or something's happening on your computer, it'll shrink them down and fit to size so you can see the entire screen. Now from here, you can toggle between the gallery view so you can see everybody's awesome smile, or you can go into the speaker view so you can focus on Loral, focus on the speaker. So that's the experience for tonight. Also, the chat is not turned on for direct messaging because of the nature of our program. We want you to lean in, listen. You can definitely jump into the chat, ask questions, and interact with the hosts and the co-hosts, but we will not have any direct messaging available. Also, last but not least, we are recording tonight. So as we progress into our evening VIP spot, we will be separating into two rooms. Those of you that are here will stay in on this room, and then we'll have the VIP room available for you. That happens automatically. However, if you leave and then try to come back in, you may have trouble getting back into that VIP spot. So we recommend that you stay here the entire time. Definitely, if you need to go and do a one task break and come back, just turn your camera off, mute out, and then we'll make sure you get in the right place. That being said, back over to you, Andrew.
Actually, all right, cool. Also,
before we do that, I was looking at the chat. If people don't have sound, what do they do? Could you give like little overview instructions? There's a few people who said they don't have sound.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, and then also those of you that are on an iPad and an iPhone or a mobile device, you're going to have to swipe left to right to see the slides, to see the video view. You're going to hit those three little dots and choose chat to be able to jump into the chat. Now, if you're not getting any audio, I'm going to put the phone number into the chat. You can actually dial in and receive audio and then have the video on your device. So I'll give you that option. Now, those of you that need to switch in and out from different audio sources, those little down arrows that are next to your microphone icon, also for your video icon, that's where you're going to pick the video source and the audio source. So those of you that have like a podcast setup, or maybe you're used to having multiple audio sources and you can't hear anything, you want to hit that little down arrow in your microphone and choose the audio source until you hear the sound. And with that said, we'll go back to you.
Awesome. Also, I highly suggest you take notes. Laurel's going to go very fast. We only have the main hour tonight, and we're going to cover a lot of stuff. So really lean in, pay attention. And without further ado, do we have a sizzle we're going to play, or you want to just go, Laura?
Yeah, I'm just going to roll. They know who I am. I hope you all know who I am. Some of you are brand new to us, so welcome. The fastest way to get to know me is my YouTube channel, or my Instagram is @AskLaurel. We have some imposter accounts over at Instagram that are spelled wrong. So it's @AskLaurel is mine, the real one. Hopefully we'll be verified very shortly, and then they'll have to go away. And we have over 120 fake TikToks. I always, so I have this new funny thing I made up today. I said, instead of impersonate me, why don't you just hire me so that I can make you a millionaire instead of a ripoff artist? So it's fascinating. So by the way, I just want to speak to that too. I think a lot of you don't realize when you become really successful, you are our target, right? I know some of you, said, I really want to work with you, Laurel. Go to the next slide, Steve. So let's just clarify all this too. I'm an educator. I'm at 22 years in this company, 5 years before. I've been doing this for over 25 years between the Rich Dad Poor Dad brand, where I learned this business and industry, and then moved into my own. And I'm not an advisor, so I can speak freely because it's my gift is to teach you in common sense principles about money. And too many people either teach very high level, what we're really taught in our, at MBA and PhD programs, but that's not who we are. I want to teach you how to, number one, I'm going to teach you more things than you ever thought you'd know about money. Some of you are high income earners and you actually don't know anything about being an entrepreneur and money, and you're overpaying taxes. So we're going to get into some regrets and some of that, but I just want to clarify, like, every shark that I'm aware of has over 100 lawsuits. You women, especially if you're in a very male-dominated space, you'll be attacked like my entire career. I love Sharon Lecter has been my financial mom, mentoring and coaching me through this. I have one underway right now. I'm not scared of it. If you are backing away from me because of any of that, you're making a very, very big mistake, and it will be a regret in the future. Because we're the only company that does what I do. I created this very, very specifically because what we do is where you're never going to find all in one house. We have 28 financial experts. So every category that you can think of, I have an expert that is here to support you. So I facilitate your strategy. And like I say, I've got to pull my books all out. In the Millionaire Maker, which is the basis of all this work, is I lead the strategy in your sequence and you do the work. So if anyone says, well, it doesn't work, it's because you don't do the work. It's worked. There's no way we'd be here this long and educating this long if things weren't working around here. And this year, I can tell you, 2023, I intend to do so much of my coaching for my head of the table members that are my private clients and making so many millionaires next year. I cannot wait for all the results. And I could love their companies. We have so many cool companies that we're coaching. I mean, really different. I mean, from manufacturing to, obviously I'm in cannabis, so I have a lot of cannabis clients, coaches, professional football players. I mean, we have such a cool community that is forming around this work because you all deserve to be millionaires, not 100,000aires, millionaires. It's not that difficult. So I want you to, again, like Andrew said, take some notes. It's not difficult, it's different. And my latest book this year with Kyle, the Make Your Kids Millionaires, all the checklists and everything are on the page. If you haven't got it, it really doesn't matter, even though the title says it's a kid's book, it's really for you parents. And honestly, if I was a single person and not knowing any of this, just going through the checklist of what I did and what Kyle did to our children between 0 and 20 will be jaw-dropping to most of you. And especially those of you who have lived employee lifestyles, you have no idea, like you don't know what you don't know about the strategies that are available. Because if you walk into, go ahead and go to the next slide, Steve. If you walk into a financial institute, they only do a very one piece of this whole puzzle. And so then what happens is you're the one left to be the quarterback of this team, right? You could go bank it, say Chase, Citibank, or Wells Fargo. You could put your money into a Schwab account. You could go to Fidelity. You could go wherever you want, but they don't talk to each other. And unless you learn enough about money, right? And I really want you to hear this, until you learn enough about money to lead a team of experts. And you say, well, I'm doing a lot of this myself. Well, there's your biggest mistake, right? I don't believe in self-made millionaires. They're team-made. You need to have bookkeepers and accountants and tax strategists and really proper people who know how to self-direct your IRAs from past jobs. So we're an all-inclusive shop, but every person is an independent business. So it's a very unique structure that I put together with a lot of mentoring and a lot of guidance. I've spent over $1 million of my own mentoring and coaching. Next year, I'll spend over 100,000 in my own mentoring and coaching. So I'm a student, I'm a teacher, and I'm a student. And I think all of you need to really take that posture of not thinking you know it all, or what can I get from the organization and community? It's what can we collaborate on building to make lots of lives better. And when you think about the medical industry and the finance structures of the world, there's very old traditional stuff, right? What I call Western culture stuff. But if you think about the healthiest and the wealthiest, we live in the alternatives. And so I'm going to teach you the alternatives through all the work of the Millionaire Maker. And tonight is really, it's an annual event. We love tonight. Tonight is a setup of the next 20 really month, about 4 weeks. So we'll be back together January 5th for New Year, New You. So this is, how do you end this year? And so one of the things I want to invite you to do, this is our homepage of our Integrated Wealth Systems brand, and there's a quiz. And if you haven't taken the quiz for a minute or two, I think it's critical you go back and take it on an annual basis, because you should be like the book. If you guys have read the book, by the way, this is a great holiday read, and this is a great Christmas gift to anybody that you want to be in this conversation. But in here, there's 7 chapters, seven families that I help make millionaires. Their names have been changed, but the facts about their companies and what they did is exactly what they did. And so how do different people at different levels, and a lot of you understand, because I see your profiles and we know a lot about you because the way we do our data and our database, a lot of you are high income earners, but you're overpaying taxes because you're not using the tax code of 81,000 pages. And you're not going to go to LegalZoom to figure this out. You're not going to go to the cheap sites. You need an integrated team to surround you on your millionaire plan. So I asked for 3 to 5 years to make you a millionaire. But I can tell you, with the volatile economy, here's the benefit of a recession, increased inflation, and high interest rates. The volatility is the strong will survive, and the smart will survive. And I'm saying smart because I'm not saying you're not smart. Are you smart in money? Have you ever had a money mentor, like somebody who's really teach you money, from debit cards to credit cards to proper use of good debt to leverage to arbitrage? Like, how do you implement all of this in your life so you behaviorally get the result? Some of you conceptually get it, but you're not behaviorally acting. So I want you to take the quiz, see which we reduce the quiz to, there's 4 categories you'll end up in. One of the 4 is where we start our coaching and mentoring with you. So let's jump into the next slide. Again, get a pen and paper.
If I could, before we go too far, I forgot one thing. If you would be so kind to name yourself, your full first and last name. If you don't know how, just pop it in the chat. I'm so-and-so, first, last name. We'll change it for you. But it's crucial because later on, we're going to split rooms and we need to know who's going in each room. So our VIPs will go into one. Everybody else will stay in the other. And if your name is iPhone or iPad, that doesn't help. So please do that if you can. Thank you very much.
If we'll talk, go ahead and put the link in for VIP. It's $97. I'll get to that whole, slide and show you what all that is in a minute. But I want to set this up. So these are 2021, kind of statistic is the results show that up to 80% of New Year's resolutions fall by mid-February. And here's the 2 most famous resolutions that people go into. And, we used to call this resolutions versus results, and now it's regrets versus results, because resolutions, regrets, and live in the kind of same category. It's year after year, you produce the same result because you haven't engaged in new thinking. You haven't, like Steve said, we always say, lean in and learn. We want you to really lean in and understand money. Yesterday, we did a 4-hour big table, which is, our signature community where millionaires are made. And we did 4 hours, and it was really, how do you live corporate life? How do you implement, making sure that you personally don't pay for this anymore, your car, how do you live this behaviorally through you and your children, for those of you who you know, we're a big family organization. So how do you actually do it? So it's fun. And that's what we want for you, is to really live it. So to get the results you want, you have to change something. And my challenge to our Big Table members yesterday is I want you to change one habit a day. And between all my 4 Millionaire Maker books, Yes Energy, and Put More Cash, and the YouTube channel, there's one little thing, like stop using your debit card, use your credit card. That's one habit. So 365 habits is my challenge to our Big Table members to change their entire life this year with money. Stop using checks, put yourself on auto pay. I mean, you know, everybody, you still got to have them around, but I mean, how are you really structured and how are you really doing it? That's what I'm passionate about teaching you. So we don't want you to fail this year as we go into 2023. Before we set up 2023, which will be on January 5th, again, new year, new you, you have to complete this year properly. And there's a lot of you who are hesitating to complete this year, and our number of business days, it's counting down, folks. We are down to less than 15, not even 15, probably 10 business days because of the way the holidays fall. We have to enact a lot of work around you corporately, trust-wise, tax-wise. There's some things that have to happen so you don't live in regret. Most people enter a new year and say, I want to lose weight and make more money. Those are the stock and block. Like 90% of people have those two resolutions. I want to get in better shape or whatever. They have a health and a wealth goal. And literally by mid-February, that's gone away and they're back into their own pattern. So we do this to help you start identifying where you can really start shifting and get the support you need. Why most resolutions, again, lack the right, lack commitment to consistent right action. So in the Millionaire Maker, I call it sequencing. You do the right thing at the right time. And so, yesterday we also had Tom Ziegler on. He is going to be our guest for the VIP, if you want to know who's coming on for the VIP. And he's going to talk Zig Ziglar style, performance planning, and how do you create that in a journal, and actually has this beautiful journal they redid of all Zig's work of how to plan 2023. So he'll be sharing that with you VIPs shortly. But even like he said, motion and results are very different. Like a lot of you're in motion, you're busy, but you're not effective. You're not productive because you're not working, and you're working harder versus smarter because you haven't surrounded yourself with, the right team. And team and systems is what we're known for. And again, you're going to fall short because of sequencing. And, my commitment always is I want you to say yes and figure out how without any doubt. Those of you who've been to our Millionaire Intensive, we have 3 big commitment words. One is commitment versus interested. Jumping, like consistently being uncomfortable of moving to the next phase versus plateauing and sitting there for a while. And then the other one is live a decided life. So living a decided life is what creates results. I've decided I'm going to be a millionaire, and I did, right? I did that between 1997 and 1999. 2 years, big commitment, like at all costs, meaning I was going to do it. There wasn't hesitation. There were no excuses. And a lot of you are using excuses to get through your life versus using commitments that are solid about, I want that and I will have it. Notice I'm not saying at the cost of other people, at all cost of my excuses and myself. You're your problem if you haven't noticed that. You also, let's head to the next slide, Steve, are your problem because so many of you have not solved this one problem called the people around you, your environment. Your environment is stronger than anything else. So you can say you want, what I'm offering. You can say you want to be a millionaire. You can say you want to have a, big content marketing business like I have. I mean, we do so much content online. And our social platforms have just skyrocketed this year because, again, we've hired the right teams. So as you think about, like, what do you want? You can have no excuses. Like, here's the big excuses. And you just got to give them up. Like, yeah, I don't have time. I don't ever want to hear that. You have time. We all have the same damn clock. So don't use that excuse anymore. Do not say you can't afford it. You can make more money. Every 3 weeks, I teach people how to make money in the marketplace in the Millionaire Intensive. And you are welcome to come back as many times as long as you're continuing to add and shift for a new result. So please take this quiz. Steve, I'm actually bringing you back into the call to talk about the survey and have people take the survey so we can get some results. What do you want in these categories? And we have a survey. As you can see, do you need tax strategy? Here's what I can just tell you, because you may not know. If you only are an employee or sole proprietor, you are in 100% problem of a tax strategy because we can't even activate the tax. We can't even activate the IRS's options unless you do the first two things. And if you go to LegalZoom, I can promise you we're probably going to have to fix them. If you go to some law firms, we have to fix them because lawyers can do entities, but they don't know the tax strategy. We do our entities based on tax strategy. Is Scott out here tonight? I'm just curious. I'd welcome him in. It's fine if he's not. I didn't invite him because I usually don't invite any of my experts here. Experts come to the big table. Self-direct your IRAs. Many of you have had jobs, prior jobs than COVID even. And you haven't moved those monies over and actually got control of them. And you say, well, I wouldn't even know what to do. I know that we're going to teach you. Do you want CBD, cannabis, cryptocurrencies, huge asset classes, and rock and rolling, legacy planning. We did a Gen W conference. That product by the way, those of you ordered it, it was $197. Actually, I'll keep it at $197 unless we moved it. Andrew, if you want to put in the link for our generational wealth conference, when that product is ready, which I have to shoot a few more like connecting videos because it's 3 days of work. Then that product will be delivered to all of you in a course format. And it will, for those of you who don't have it, by January 6th, that will go to $497. And really, it should be a $2,000 course because the value that's in that. Do you want legacy planning? What else do you want? Steve, if you want to continue to scroll, how do I scroll this little survey?
Yep. So the survey popped up on everybody's computer device. So if you want to take a moment to go, just click on that little window and check mark which ones you want. It's multiple choice answers for both questions. So as you start to do the tick marks, then we'll start to see the data on our side. So take a moment, hit that window, click which ones you want, which of the following topics are you interested in for 2023, and then what kinds of events you'd like to attend in the new year. So take a moment to do that as we continue. And those of you that are on a desktop or on a device, you may have to scroll or swipe or move some of your windows around so you can see it.
And Steve, just a note from yesterday's table. Will you send this survey? We didn't survey our table. And so when we send the replay from yesterday, let's make sure we add the survey so we hear from everyone that is committed in the community already.
Yep, we'll do.
All right. So we're going to leave this up for a little while. Because what I'd like is your number one thing. What's the number one result? Now, remember, I'm the money and business expert, right? Finance business. So if you have one thing you want to achieve in next year, put it in the chat so I can see it quicker, so I can continue that dialogue with you. And is it making money? Is it like getting your foundation of your life so your money's going into the right bank account and being paid by the right bank accounts? That is a critical, I call that forecasting. You've got to get that pattern of your money right. And we can do that in literally less than 30 days if you do everything we say. And so some of you say, well, I don't have time to do this. I'm already so busy. I know. Here's the thing about money, though. You're already doing it wrong. You're already doing it in a habitual pattern that you learned probably from your parents. Or I was going to say, those 5 people that are next to you, they're your environment. They're the ones that are going to support you on this journey, or they're going to make fun of you on this journey. So are you declaring to everyone at all costs with total commitment and no compromise at all that you are on this journey and you have big goals? Like, what do you want next year? Put it in the chat. Can they put it in the chat, Steve? They can chat to me.
Yeah, so they can just put it in the chat. If you guys are seeing the poll, here's what I'll do. I'll try and relaunch it. So let me end the poll right now. And then let me see if it'll let me relaunch it. It might not let me relaunch it. So hold on one second. Relaunch poll. Here we go. So relaunch poll. Yep. All right. Relaunch. So does everybody see that window now in front of them? Okay, perfect. Yep. Just take a moment to click on your answers there, hit submit, and then we'll start to see those on our side.
Yeah. A lot of making money, a lot of tax strategies, content marketing for sure. Marie, we'll get to that. Cynthia wants a $250,000 company. Any of you, and I just want to do a little goal setting and start preparing you. If you are like, your first 100,000 is the hardest money to ever make, for sure. Like, it is the hardest money to make because you're going from an employee thinking to learning to be an entrepreneur. And even with like my son, I always use my son as an example. He just graduated with a finance and accounting degree and just completing all but one class in his master's of accounting, becoming a CPA. All that being said, he still will come back and say, I've got 5 years in college, 4 years in college. Now it's 4.5, 5 years of playing football. He said, Mom, I've never been taught what you teach. I said, because you're not being taught as an entrepreneur. And I know, Marie, we had a talk earlier today, and you said, schools should teach it. And I'm going to counter that and say they should teach some basic fundamentals, but they are not millionaires. They should not teach this work. They don't know how. They would be the worst to teach this work because they would just teach them how to live like an employee. So they're not the right, I'm going to say like lifestyle to do it because they don't live it. And I don't believe you should teach what you don't live. If I wasn't a millionaire, I better not say I can be a money expert, but I better not be the millionaire maker. When I hit my status, I hit it in 8 industries over the last 20 years. So I have 8 industries I've hit millionaire: gas and oil, real estate, recycled glass, supplements. So like I know how to do a lot of these, and I love business. I love business, and I love the foundation of money below it, and I love the investing above it. But your core business and that first 100,000 is the hardest damn money you're ever going to make. So let us help you make your first 100, because what you have to learn, write this down, you have to learn marketing, sales, and cash flow. Not all the counting. You can hire a bookkeeper for that, but you as the leader need to run your marketing to get leads. You need to run sales to get the cash flow, right? And then you manage cash flow through the right forecasting and spending. And that is what I love to do. Those are my favorite things to teach and get you on track for. Now, I want to say for goal setting, those of you who've already made 100,000, right? And I know I see Roger and Carl out there. I cannot wait to work with you too. If you're already in the millions, going from 100 to 1 million is 1 year. I can help you get there, but you have to do what we're saying as far as team and systems. You can't, go put your head down and say, I'm going to do my Facebook ads. No, you're not. You're going to hire somebody. You're not good at them. Unless you're an expert at it, you're going to hire it. You're going to strengthen your strengths this year, 2023. You're going to hire your weaknesses. Now, let's go to the next slide, and we'll talk about the VIP for just a moment. And then after that, Steve, can you give the poll results to us?
I think there was a technical difficulty in the poll. It wasn't reading the responses. So continue to jump into the chat and put in what you're interested in for 2023, and we'll go back and review those responses.
Okay, perfect. But let's fix this because I do want this survey to come back out. So upgrade. So VIP, I love it. These 2 gentlemen were at our Gen W conference. That's where you see this latest picture. This was the end of October. If you see Glenn Morshower, he's a world famous actor. He is known for 24. He's a general on Transformers. If you've ever taken your kids on a Transformer ride at Universal Studios, his voice is right there and you'll see his picture. I love that man. He's one of my dearest friends. And Tom Ziegler, Zig Ziglar's son, will be with us talking. So you're getting 2 hours. You're getting tonight's replay, and you'll get a replay of Tom. Tom will be with us around 5 o'clock. And then going for another, 45 to an hour, we'll be answering questions. I did a bonus session on your operating agreements. Those of you who have businesses, there are 9 things that no one talks about, including LegalZoom and most law firms, that everyone forgets in an operating agreement. Scott and I go through those. I call it design your divorce while you're in love. So if you're going to start a company, you better start designing that, how you're going to exit and still be friends if you do a 3-year run in a company with somebody. So that's a really great, that was our VIP class last year, actually. And we don't release that. This is the first time we're releasing it. You're going to get our 2-hour talk that Glenn did at our big table on October 30th, just brilliantly done. And you're going to get another bonus training from me and Randy on how do you build a 4-hour business plan and do it very quick. So you just have an operational business plan for 2023. So for $97, you're getting all of those goodies. So click on the link and sign up. And you need to do that sooner than later, because behind the scene, our team is getting ready to divide the room at 5, a little after 5 when Tom joins us. Now let's go to the next slide. Here's where we're going to dig deep. Results require commitments. Now we've talked about commitment. Commitment is at all costs. And I really right now, I want you to write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. And on a scale of 1 to 10, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how many of them are a 10 in supporting you, right? So who are the 5 people around you? And a scale of 0 to 10 on support, how many of them are saying, oh my God, I can't believe you're still following that girl. You're never going to do this. They're the excuse builders. You can have social friends and you can have other people, but when it comes to money and finance and business, you just don't talk about it unless it's inside this community. Because they don't know what they don't know. And there's just interesting, odd opinions. I think it's fascinating that you ask somebody who's not a millionaire how you're going to get there, or how to do a real estate deal, or how to arbitrage Airbnb, or whatever the conversation is. It's that's just an interesting chat. You're not going to get anywhere. That's a waste of time. And like I said earlier, I don't do motion and busy. I'm extremely efficient and get a lot done really quick. I always say our company does in 1 year what most companies can't get done in 5 years. And it's because we have really high team efficiency. You see the team that's around. We produce a lot. The next slide, I love this because it's introducing Zig and his work. And if you don't know who Zig Ziglar is, boy, do you need to go like dig in. This man was a legend. And I was blessed to be able to travel in the last several, shows of his last year when his daughter Julie was having to interpret because he had some brain and memory issues. So he said, character, I have to read it because I've got my slides a little different. It was character that got us out of bed, commitment that moves us into action, and discipline that enables us to follow through. So look at those words. I want you to write down character, commitment, and discipline. And that's what 2023 needs to be about for you, is what's the character and the value that you lead from, the integrity that you lead from, what's the commitment that you lead from, and what's the discipline. So notice that I say lead because you're now going to be a CEO of a company. Now, your company might be real estate investing. Your company might be, stock trading. Your company could be whatever you all do, landscaping company, handyman company. You might want to create some content. The top 2023 industry jobs are all in digital marketing, content creation, YouTube, ad management, everything that we do in social media, top 10 jobs, app building, anything technical. So if you're not very technical, which I'm not, I don't want to, I have amazing team and children that they could do that all. Too many commitments, go to the next slide. Too many commitments, are you willing to pay the price? So on January 5th, I'm going to do 2 hours and we'll have another VIP after, but I have to have 2 hours of time. I just couldn't tonight to get Tom here and get us all packed in tonight. But if you have too many goals, too many things that you want to accomplish, you set yourself up to lose. Because think about it, and we're going to talk about this more in January. There's all these areas of your life, from your spiritual journey to your money, right? So money, to me, when I say money, is how you make it and how you invest it. Then there's your career and your personal development. Like that's how you're going to do it. That's who you're becoming. There's your environment, which I say that a little different than most because your environment's so pivotal when it comes to feeling supported and guided and mentored. Your family and friends. You have, so I'm going to go through 8 areas of your life in January, and we're going to give them a score and we're going to move them forward. But if you say, well, I want to do all these things, you set yourself up to lose from the beginning because you can't do all these things. Do you want to focus on a business development, which will change your financial? That's where I advise most people, if I'm going to tell you where to go make more money. Most people's makeover is pretty quick. You need to make more money to do the things you want to do. And if you need to get out of debt, don't get out of debt, invest that money that you would use to get out of debt. You invest that principal. If you have 20,000 in debt, you're going to go invest 20,000. You're not going to pay it off because I want your 20 making you 2,400, $200 a month. And you're going to make the 20,000 to pay off that debt. So we have a very different approach to how to get you successful, and making new money is one of the greatest gifts you'll ever give yourself, your family, your children. Their ability and confidence and security, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how many of you, like 10 meaning, yes, I want this. Like how many of you, if you're willing to learn, would love to, go ahead and move the next slide, Steve. How many of you would just absolutely love to be able to turn on and off a cash machine, meaning you can make as much money as you want, whenever you want, because you can turn it on, you can turn it off, or you can turn it down. You never really turn it off. Right. So if I'm going to go do something for a while, say, 2-3 weeks, we may turn down the ad spend a little bit. Probably, actually, I can't even say we would do that because I have such an amazing team. They'll just keep jamming with or without me. Like it just works. It's a machine. A lot of you don't have a machine. You have an emotional entrepreneurial idea and you're hoping to God it's going to work out. And there's no systems or team around it. And you're doing too much work that you don't know how to do. So then you end up procrastinating. And I actually am going to teach you to live a procrastination-free life. Procrastination-free life. Well, first of all, let's define procrastination. You either don't know how to do it or you don't want to do it, so it doesn't get done. So if there's something you don't know how to do, you're going to hire it. If you don't want to do it, you're going to hire it. So you only do what you love to do. Strengthen your strengths. I do 3 things, and I do those 3 things in addition to my parenting, which is my biggest pride and joy of my life, really, really well. So again, scale of 1 to 10. How many of you at a scale of 10 want to learn to make money where you turn it on, turn it off anytime you want? Like, where is your desire to make money? And some of you might already know how, like Roger Carlo, like some of you already really know how, like you're doing really well. So that's not going to be a priority goal. So this isn't like a right or wrong. I'm just curious, as a group, here listening tonight, we're on a scale of 1 to 10 is money making. And I'm not just saying making money to make money. I'm saying know it. Like you can turn it on, turn it off without fail. Steve, are you out there, my friend? Can you turn this next slide, please?
Yep.
Thank you. I'm trying to see. Oh, there we go. Tens. I know it's kind of common sense to say that. And even some of you that have been around a while, I see a lot of familiar names. You still don't really know how to do it. And you know how I know? I watched how you played at Gen W. I watched how you played at the table, and you played smaller than you needed to because the marketplace is always open. Back to too many commitments, you're going to pay a price, right? So you got to be really, really careful. Like, you need to be willing to pay the price of keeping the commitments. So what I mean by this slide, to be fair, we often don't understand the depth of a commitment until we're in the midst of trying to keep it. So what I want you to understand is, and Tom said it really well yesterday to those of you that were listening at the big table. And even Martha said, reinforced it. You're going to set goals and plans. Like you're going to do this 4-hour business plan for those of you in the VIP, or those of you already on the table. You already have building, leading, protecting, so you're good. I mean, that's a deeper cut of it. What you're going to get out of this. So here's the truth.
That one is actually you walking them through it.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's even better.
Yeah, it's I think 2 or 3 hours live with you.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
So I don't know the big table people have that one. Either way, like what I want you to think about is as you're walking, into a plan or into like, even I'll use this, this was a 2-year journey between Kyle and I getting this book to what it became, which was a Wall Street, Barnes and Noble, Amazon, like massive bestseller. But it was a commitment at all levels for this entire team. And I remember us all sitting and saying mid-January, are we going to go? Because if we're going to go, we got to go. And then until you say yes, the universe is not going to deliver anything to you. And see, a lot of you don't say yes. What you do is you stutter step. You go back and forth and back and forth. You stutter step back and forth. Sorry, I got interrupted. So when you stutter step, then you don't know where you're going. So what I need you to do is just know that there's going to be some flexibility in the plan. Right. So you're going to be moving and then you're going to run into a wall. I always say as Steve Harvey says, you're going to jump off that cliff and you're going to get some bruises. So you're going to get some bruises. We don't call them failures. I don't call them failures. Those are learning. Like, all right, we're going to go this way. All right, can't go that way. Got to go this way. That's the power of a mentor, is like extreme experience, an enormous Rolodex, and avoiding costly errors. Like if some of you, and I won't say your name because I've been talking to a lot of you that are on this call, said you wanted to be a bestseller at this magnitude, you're not ready. And I would say you can waste your money, but you're not ready. You don't have enough content. You don't have enough, there's a lot to it. So for a lot of you, I think you give up quickly because you run into a first roadblock. So when you run into a roadblock, you don't stop, right? You say, I'm saying yes. I'm staying in my commitment to yes. And I'm going to figure out who knows how to help me. And I'm not I'm not backing out. How many of you would say like that's been you? You have a commitment or a plan and you run into too many roadblocks, so you just lay it down, versus at all costs, I am going to win. Like when I said yes, our team said yes, right? We call it the ride or die. We're going to make this thing work. And we got into it. And it's like, oh my gosh, the bestsellers are still on a hardback 285-page book. When we want a millennial and a Gen Z to buy it, who love E and audio, like E and audios don't count to this big baby. So how do we entice people to buy a book, a real one like this? Well, we had to add a conference to it, Gen W. We had to add an NFT to it. So we ran into all sorts of blocks as we got back into best-selling campaigning, going, oh my gosh, this thing's like harder than what's ever been in the history of making bestseller books. So my point is, I want you to commit a small number of things you want to do. Like 3 to 6 things that you're going to do this year, and you're going to do them really well. Like you're going to get to that first 6 figures. Like that alone, because there's so many sub-tactical actions below it, is enough of a goal. The second goal, if say I want to make 100 or 200 or a million for some of you, whatever your goal, your number is, you want at least 10% to go to new assets. Because the other thing new entrepreneurs do in making new money is you put too much of that money back in your company and you're not diversifying into other assets. Having your own company, like Integrated Wealth Systems, is the biggest asset I have by far, because of the database size, the duration, the monetization. This company has made hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And it's made many, many millionaires. So the duration is critical, but are you willing to pay a price of tuition, of mentoring and education? And a lot of you will lay it down. And I just want to encourage you to really focus. And Tom's going to give you some goal setting strategies tonight. January 5th, I'm going to give them to you. Those of you who want to continue to work with Tom will go also into January 10th. So we have a lot of really shifting your habits and behaviors so you have a different result. All right, so go to the next slide. This one is a huge activity. I just want to acknowledge Dan and Kelly Kessler, if they're out there. They did the most amazing work in this category. They came in for a private session, and we went up to Lake Tahoe to this beautiful country club, had dinner, and sat for hours, and just talked about their personal and their business life. Now, I think you have an integrated life, and I want you to see how they overlay. So, and a lot of you don't integrate yet. So I want you to do it separately. If you could look at yourself personally, like you as a human and you with the skill set, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And like mine is, my strength is I go fast. My weakness is I go fast. So what do? I surround myself with people who go slower, who are more analytical, who counter my speed, who say, slow it down. I don't slow down. I say, you got to speed up. What they mean is I need that analyst to make sure, because when I go fast, I could miss some things, right? So then they complement. A lot of you, your hiring isn't proper. And I can't wait till Tom talks about this later too. You're hiring in your like kind, meaning you're hiring people that have the same strengths and weaknesses. Like kind people don't make an organization. You've got to have all sorts of diverse personalities and skill sets. So together it makes a well-oiled machine. What are the opportunities that you have in front of you? What are the threats that are in front of you? So evaluate yourself and then overlay your business. So then if you look at your business separately, and as an organization, and when you do the business, here's a big homework for those of you, especially you big table people who are more advanced because you've already been in the work for a while. I want you to look at your business, your organization, without you in it. Like we had a team meeting today, actually an internal operations meeting, and that was my kind of funny joke I told them today. I said, I'm resigning today. Like if I wasn't here, and that was the huge joke, because I'll do this till the day I die. But operationally, if I'm not here, all of this machine needs to move at the same pace, speed, and revenue that we make. And so what are our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats as a team, right? What's your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities? And it's interesting to look at your business, like, and I don't want to name names, but like I talked to you earlier today, so you know who I'm talking about. When you're a one-person band, you can't do this activity. So I'm going to challenge your thinking to say, for me to be successful, not only do I not want you to do it alone, when I hear solopreneur, I hear solo suffering, because I know you cannot do all the things it takes to run a successful company. Like, here's the divisions of a successful company. You have a marketing team. The most money we spend in this company is on marketing. The people who make the most money are the salespeople who take that lead and convert them to a sale. And then we have an accounting team. Right? And we have a fulfillment and operations team. We have a technical team. And then around all of that is customer service support and the resell and upsell of another product, which then takes you back from fulfillment and operations back to sales to count the money, do the fulfillment, do it again. You can cycle your cash flow in a well-oiled machine. And a lot of you're just you. Right. And I remember being you in a spare bedroom in 1995 and 6 when I was leaving Chevron to go follow a Japanese guy in a game around called Robert Kiyosaki. And thank God he made it. But you know what? If he didn't, it was my place to jump, and I landed, perfectly well. But even let's just say they didn't become the big bestseller they did, I still would have just continued to learn. And I got a new world. I got a new landscape. I got a new environment. I put a new team around me. I put some of the greatest, minds in this industry around me. So what are you doing? And this is an amazing activity. Those of you who have a coach, so Damon will take a note. Especially you big tables, do this activity, send it into homework at Ask IWS, and we'll make sure your coach gets it, and like really dig into fixing last year, like 2022, like what worked. I mean, this is another way you could do a SWOT analysis is what was your SWOT analysis for 2022? I mean, you take this all back to 2020, it's really, really interesting because all of us had different lives. I remember my last stage, March 7th, flying home. And I know, Tom, you said you had 12 or 13 cancels. I had 29 stage cancels within less than a week. My entire year went like from a huge event show I mean, speaking with Richard Branson, speaking with Tony Robbins, like all these amazing stages, all done. Like it went to nothing. I mean, we never moved as a team so quickly, and now we won't move back. I won't move back. I've done that life. I've been to 6 continents. I've been all over the world. I don't want that life back. I want life with my children and that life. So do this activity, send it into your coach. If you don't have a coach, Laura, if you want to raise your hand over there, you are either assigned to Laura, Omar, or Jeff as a lead strategist inside our office. You might have talked to Kristen, Chrissy, Lavelle, or Terry. So you've talked to someone in our organization. And if you haven't, so all of you strats, get ready. Put a no in the chat if you don't if you don't have an appointment with somebody out of this call, because I'd like you to have a session. So you're on track for then January 5th. So you really come in strong. Like look back, I'm going to give you a little precursor. It's not a slide, but go ahead and move to the next slide, Steve. When you set your goals, I want them to be SMART goals, right? And this is not new. Everybody knows this, but if you don't, I wanted a reminder slide. They have to be specific. They have to be measurable, attainable, realistic, and they have to have a time bound. They have to have a time to it. Like our bestseller, like we had a time. We knew May 10th that thing had to hit, right? So they have to be very specific. And again, take all the things you want to do, compartmentalize them. What this year are the most important 3, 4, 5, 6 things that you get done, and do them really smart and really well. As we pace into next year, like I said, we're going to look at different areas of your life. I'm also going to do an activity, and you can start thinking about it and start reflecting on 2022. It's called Start, Stop, and Continue. What do you need to start doing based on what you did? So the way you do this activity is you get a journal. I'm a huge journaler. If you don't have a journal, we have journals that are in our store, at our Shopify store. Andrew, will you put the store link? You can get one of our journals for $20. They're beautiful red leather bound journals. They live out loud, conversations about money. They're beautiful. And you can get a journal, but journal like in your mind, how was 2022? Did you have more regret? Like create results. If you did write it down, go back and look at your resolutions and say, so what happened? And then look at the reality of what happened. Like, did somebody get sick? Right? I mean, a lot of people are having family members, sick, die, whatever. I mean, it's the hardest thing to plan for is an unplanned illness. And then that causes the next problem, which is the number 2 problem in money, is an unplanned estate. So the person dies, problem number 1, unplanned estate. Now you are burdened with all of this mess from your parents or whoever gave you this inheritance, then you don't know how to untangle it. Like we start today to untangle. So just think about all the things you did in 2022 and start doing a category. And I'm going to take you through a process. It'll take about 20 to 30 minutes of our January 5th call. What do you need to start doing based on what happened in 2022? What do you have to stop doing? And what do you want to continue to do? Because I want you to acknowledge that you've done great stuff. You did the best with what you have. So go to the next slide. You did the best for your current level of thinking. And now Laura wanted me to bring this up to a few of you, and I totally agree with her. Some of you, you are smart and successful, right? Go ahead and move to the next slide, Steve. Hello? Where did he go? There he is. The same old thinking is going to create the same old results. But a lot of you're successful from an employee view of the world, right? You've done well, you've made, or even an owner of a company. But as your foundation, did it grow with you, right? Like I was just going to call out to Roger and Carla, because I know you guys, like, you've outgrown your structure for years, right? Some of you, like, you don't even have the right structure yet. You're not even in the right intellectual property to operational company and equipment company, like you're not set right. So why would you continue to grow and make money if your foundation isn't right? So one goal for all of you is to get your foundation right. And if you do not get incorporated, LLC, limited partnership, S Corp, or C Corp, and go ahead and put our number in the chat, by the end of the year, midnight, December 31st, you will blow this year. You can't look back and say you had an entity. So on December 30th, if you say I got an entity that day, we can take this whole year and do it very differently in the way you spent your money. We can totally do a complete rework if you get incorporated the way we would do it. So you have to get that done. It'll be your biggest regret. I guarantee it. It is everyone's biggest regret as they get to know us, because they didn't get it done, or you didn't do it right. And you did it cheap. You could go to your Secretary of State and do it for just the cost, but then you don't have the corporate binder. the stock certificates, the operating agreement, the articles of incorporation. I mean, you don't have the documents, and so you can't even open a bank account. So do it right. That is the number one regret we always hear from people. And the second one is you don't know what you don't know. So, if you are a teacher, if you're a leader, you're a manager, like a CEO of your company, and you're really that position, are you still a student? Like I told you, I'm already set to spend over 6 figures next year in new mentoring. Or repeat mentoring from some of my greatest favorite mentors that I'm going to go back to do 2 very specific things I don't know how to do. And I'm not going to spend a minute solving the problem without their brain. So I'm going to pay them for the day. And it's going to be an amazingly expensive day. And I'm going to fly to them. I'm going to spend the day. I'm going to bring a bunch of team with me. We're going to solve those problems. We're going to come home. And then we're going to do it again and again and again. So what are you willing to do to get the result? And that's what I meant by pay the price. A lot of you've had weight loss coaches and nutrition coaches and music coaches. I mean, the greatest performers of the world, all of us have had coaches and mentors in the category that we want to grow. So really take the resolve and the completion, I would call it, of 2022 seriously. Like really take a hard look, spend hours, like really, whether it's this weekend, early week, sit down for at least 2 hours and really think month through month. Like go back through your calendar. What were you proud of? What really worked? What didn't work? What are your opportunities? Because see, I know that yes, opportunities come to you every day, but when you process an opportunity that's coming your way through one filter called, can I do it? You'll say no. You'll say yes first, and then nanoseconds later, you'll be like, oh, but I don't know how to do that. I say yes to opportunities. And then my answer is, now who's going to be the team? Because I'm not doing the work. I'm going to lead it. I'm not doing it. Write that down. That's who I want you to become. I want you to become more of a leader than a doer. You can hire the doing. And guess what? Those who hire the doing, every person that's on this team has their own company and they're doing what they lead best. And then they have the doers. So there's levels of leading and doing in every one of the categories that we're going to teach you to be in. So your same thinking this year without new thinking. That's why I do my YouTube channel. We started our YouTube channel a year ago, July 12th, 2021. We started our YouTube channel for the sole purpose of being in a money conversation 5 days a week with a new topic, 10 to 15 minutes a day. All I'm asking, listen, and then your conversation at the dinner table starts saying, so what did you learn today? What are you going to do different about money today? And again, 1 habit a day, and slowly 365 days, 3 to 5 years later, you're going to be a millionaire. It's not a guess. It's not a hope. It's true. We know how to do it. We blueprinted it. We playbooked it. It works. So we want our magic to work on you. But you have to commit and say yes. So boy, did I do that really fast. I want to just jam in here really quick. You need estate planning like yesterday. We'll call that. Then make sure you call our office. Donna, so team out there, Terry, Chrissy, Kristen, Lavelle, make sure you guys are taking notes on this. So write down the name. Arthur needs a strategy session. Crystal, looking forward to an appointment. Laura's already got that. Tina needs a strategist. Donna needs to get incorporated. You guys call them, pick up the phone. We have all the registration information and get it done. So yes, Beth, this got to be, how does it feel, Beth, to have that done? Like, I would hope a lot of you would just say, it's just the biggest relief to know that I'm set. Like if anything ever happens, I'm actually going to be okay. That confidence to say that to you and your family is huge. And Jewel, you said, I want to stop helping others. I want you to help them, but I want you paid for it, which means you need business rules and charity rules. See, a lot of you, especially women, you downplay your success and you give your time away, which is your highest valued asset, for free because number one, you don't understand the worth of yourself and the value of your offer, and you don't have charity rules. So when you have charity rules, like we just gave a ton of money to the Wounded Blue. We did over almost close to 2 million. I know for sure about 1.7 million in discounted tuition to launch our NFT. Like we knew we were doing it, but we're now get to serve so many people and help them get the goals that they want in their life. So we're excited. If you go to the next slide, again, this is your last minute to go join the room. Oh, sorry, I forgot about this. This is something that you need to do the minute you start your career. So Marie, we talked earlier today, Roger Carl, I don't know if you guys are doing this, all of my table members, askloral.com/review. Loral is a review site. It allows you to make up to $350 giving us reviews. So if you like tonight, or you like the Millionaire Intensive or my books or whatever, you can go to Amazon, Google, Facebook. I wish one mentor would have told me this. We started this about 2 years ago, probably 2 years too late, because social media has done its magic. And I call the internet the bathroom wall. Anybody can write anything about you. So the internet's not where you do due diligence, but by the way, folks, right? So you're going to see all sorts of stuff. I've been doing this for 25 years. If we were scams, I always say, there's a scam site and a ripoff report. Those are companies that are run out of like Russian and Ukraine kind of businesses. So you don't know where their ISPs are. Anyone successful, Tony Robbins is up there. I bet Zig's still up there, but he's even passed. Tom, I don't know, maybe you're up there too, Tom. I know you're out there. Anyone successful, I always say, if you get on scam and ripoff reports, congratulations, you've been successful, because you're threatening somebody. And what they want is your traffic, and they're a bait and switch site. They're going to say, don't buy Loral stuff, she's a scam, but buy my little trinket. And so they're all ripoff sites. Don't ever pay to get your name off the sites. I know, I can't say who they were, but 3 very high profile people paid $150,000 to these people to get their name off the site. Didn't matter. They were back up within the next 3 days. And because it's an international transaction, there's no recourse on that money. So all of you, from the beginning of your career, get great people to give you reviews. So I ask you guys to always do that. And then you can apply $350 towards a next step with us and whatever you want to do. And you talk to your strategist. Last chance. Here we go. VIP. We're at the top of the hour. And I'm going to leave that VIP up. So Steve, go ahead and click forward to the askloral.com. ROI, results or regrets, VIP. And again, it includes the 2 hours, the replay of this tonight, and the hour that's coming with Tom Ziegler, who's out in the waiting room, ready to come on board. A bonus training on operating agreements, because you're going to have partners, and if not done right, you could lose everything. I've had so many clients come to me having lost everything because they didn't have an operating agreement. It's called Design Your Divorce While You're in Love. The proper components of an operating agreement. It's going to be the 2 hour talk that Glenn gave at our big table as a big bonus. And then me walking you through, I guess, the 3 to 4 hour one, which is a big one. It's a complete planning guide on how to do a business plan. So click on that.
And the masterclass. It's not on the slide.
Oh, it's a masterclass. Awesome.
No,
Good.
no, the Make Your Kids Millionaires masterclass. It's not on the slide, but that's also included.
And Kyle and I just did that. It's brilliant. 4 episodes of how do you get your kids to understand expenses, debt and credit, how to get understand entrepreneurialism, leadership, and alternative investing, and get them interested young at investing and how they begin that. So click on that right now. I want to just recap some things from tonight. Right. So there are 7 divisions of a company. You can't do it by yourself. The most successful in any category of your life. Number 1, we live in the alternatives. And number 2, you have mentors and coaches. Do a SWOT analysis. You can bring that to your strategy sessions. I know that Laura, Omar, and Jeff are out here listening, so they will know how to, kind of talk you through your gap and where you are and what you want. And then how can we be a solution for you in the next year? And then do the journaling. Like, how is 2022 for you? And you really look back, did you have more regrets or more results? And then let us guide you. And as we go into this VIP with Tom, he's going to walk through goal setting, performance planning. How do you make sure you don't take those resolutions January 1? First of all, don't do resolutions. Just say, I'm going to do results this year. 2023 is, I coined it. I said, be free in 2023. It's kind of catchy. And to do that, you've got to have a different level of thinking, different environment of support, mentoring, coaching, and really narrow down the 3, 5, 6 things that you want to get done. Like this is the results I'm going to create. Notice with the conviction in 2023, not leaving it to chance or luck. And you're not going to manifest sitting on the couch eating bonbons. It doesn't work. Your action tells the universe, God, I'm committed. No action is confusing. So nothing happens. So be committed this year. How many of you on a scale, what's your commitment to new results in 2023? I want to wrap with that. On a scale of 1 to 10, and that'll be a good setup for Tom, because I know he's out here watching. How many of you, like, this is going to be your year? And even if you've had some fabulous past years, this is going to be like another amazing year. Like, I'm a 10, I'm a 12. Like, I have so much fun going on. I mean, I started on January 9th keynoting the NCAA Coaches and Wives Conference for the wives. I cannot wait. So we're starting right off with a bang and just like going to crush it this year. I'm having my first big 3 to 4 harvests in our cannabis business this year. We're going to build all sorts of real estate and country malls and development and RV parks. Got so much planned, cannot wait. And I share that because I want you to have that anticipation of excitement, like not daunting, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get it done? I don't know how to do half that stuff, by the way. I'm going to get the best team. I have the best teams around us. We're going to crush it next year. And we're to serve so many lives and help so many people understand money and finance and business. So with that, I'm going to hand it back to you, my dear gentlemen, for how this VIP is going to go. I know I'm going to stay in the room with Tom. I was going to say with Glenn because I was looking at his face. I'm going to stay in the room with Tom. And I'd like one person over at least to support me. And then the rest of you, we're not done. We're going into more of a Q&A, and you can ask questions. The strategists are out here. Andrew and Steve will stay in this room to continue if you want marketing questions. So for whatever odd reason, if you don't want to head over to the VIP room, we're not closing the doors of this entire event till 6 o'clock. So we have
And
another
VIPs, don't worry, you get both recordings. So you won't miss this hour in here. It's just all the people that are in here will miss the hour with VIPs.
Right.
Just to be clear. Do you want Damon over there with you?
Yeah, have Damon come over with me. You and Steve stay here. Most of the support team here on in our Carson City office, you all stay in the general. You can listen to the VIP later. We need your support here.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So how does this work, Steve? How does the magical wand of this webinar divide people?
I'm gonna press the go button. Rooms are already divided. I'm gonna give everybody just a minute so that I can see if anybody else signed up for the VIP just now, but I've already got them all set. So when I press play, you will all just be moved.
And if you are still in the general room and you did pay for VIP, be loud in the chat, not obnoxious, but say, hey, I paid, I'm not moved. Because, you come in from different portals. And if you came in and we, it didn't show up yet in Andrew's view of the world, then we'll move you. I love some of you like, I'm ready. You're all sitting on the edge of your seat. All right, let's do a countdown.
I don't know where Damon went.
He's right here. He's right there. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit the button. We're dividing. Bye, you guys. The rest of you, I'll see you January 5th on New Year, New You.
Okay, here we go.